Evening all, Stephen here, coming to you once again from my living room in London. Oh, I've already lost my temper. I've already lost my temper. Sorry. Thank you all for your good wishes after last night. Not feeling 100%. But as I've said in a reply to a couple of comments, I don't get many colds and stuff, so I suppose I was overdue for a bad one, and so I've been feeling pretty miserable today. Hasn't helped that the weather's turned decidedly worse. It's very, very cool and raining, which doesn't improve my mood. But there's not a chance in hell I'm putting my central heating on in the middle of September. So it's a question of wrapping up warm, although I have got a fire on over there. We call it in the UK, it's a Calagas fire, but I think elsewhere you'd know it as a propane heater. So that's giving out a bit of warmth and helping to lift my spirits a little bit, because I was very cold last night. Anyway, to the point, smoking my Dansk Club, and in it, Java. It's my first smoke of it, and I've already put a comment to Greg that he'll have to remind me, because I know he would have told us what was in it back in an earlier video, but I haven't got that many grey cells left up here, so I can't remember, so I really must ask him what's in this. But what I can tell you, Greg, Waves of Java, for those of you that don't know, is this is my kind of tobacco. Very, very, very nice indeed. Quite well, not quite, but a bit reminiscent of my favourite tobacco that I smoke over here, which is the Gowith Hogarth Black and Brown, which is like Black Cavendish and Virginias and probably a bit of Burley as well. And depending on which website you go to, it's either got a vanilla topping or a cocoa topping or whatever. I definitely get a bit of cocoa out of it. But this is very, very nice. I can understand why you like it so much, mate. I've got a feeling, but I can't be sure, that it's from a local brick and mortar of yours. So, not widely available. You'll have to correct me on that if I'm wrong. So I shall make the most of what you've sent me. I mean, my sister lives in LA, but I think where you live, it's a bit of an ask to ask her to leg it up to where you are to go to your brick and mortar and buy me some. She wouldn't do it anyway. She's a health nut. Doesn't approve of sordid habits like smoking and drinking. She wouldn't enable me. I don't need any enabling. Cheers all. Happy Saturday. Good health. Some of you may be wondering about my title for this video. It's in honour of Mrs. Peachy, who I believe one of her favourite authors is Steinbeck. But the reason behind it is that I've had some little visitors over the past week or so. I don't know if that's picking that up. As if on cue, they haven't been around. Oh, mice. I've had some little mice in here. Now I've lived here for 5.5 years and I've never knowingly had a mouse problem before, ever. And I know, because I've lived in places previously that have had mice, I know the signs to look out for. And they turned up a couple of weeks ago. And I know the reason. Well, I think I can pretty safely pinpoint the reason. My food is in the cupboards where my food is kept. Certainly anything that's not in a tin or a bottle, which obviously they can't get through. All my food is kept in cupboards which are totally inaccessible to mice at the moment. They would have to be very intrepid to find their way in. So that's probably why I've never had a problem before. But this year, for the first time, I bought myself a sack of seed to feed the birds out the back with. Because I love birds, and I've always had a habit in the past of feeding them. And not thinking about it, it was a stout, thick plastic sack. I just kept it on, and it was quite a big one, so I just kept it on the kitchen floor in the corner. And it was only when I went to move it about 2 weeks ago, I found out that these little grey buggers had been around the back of it and gnawed their way through the sack and had been filling their little bellies on my birdseed. Probably for quite a while. So my first thing was I picked the sack up and I put it inside a tall plastic bin. Must be about 4 foot tall, at least 3 or 4 foot tall. And I put it in there and I cleaned up all the mess they'd left. And I made sure there was no other food left around, even dirty dishes, you know, prior to putting them in the dishwasher or anything. Because I have to have a dishwasher. That's my one big luxury, having a dishwasher, because I hate washing up. So yeah, my youngest daughter, she works at the kitchen table because she's studying for her A-levels at the moment. For non-British, that's your last year of what we call secondary school, I suppose you call high school or whatever, studying for the qualifications that you then take to university, or will get you into university. So she's working very hard. And on the weeks that she's staying with me, she spends hours out at that kitchen table, just working non-stop. Don't know where she gets it from. I didn't do a bloody stroke of work at school, which explains why I am the way I am today. But anyway, I'm not going to go off at a tangent. And she said she'd heard them in this bin, and I thought, there's no way they can get in there. It's a tall plastic bin. But they're intrepid little sods, aren't they? And I found out they'd been climbing up something that was leaning up against the wall, and they'd been jumping onto this camping chair, which is the one I use for sitting out in the garden whenever I film out there, and they're going from there to the bin. So, and continuing to feast heartily. So on Thursday, I thought, that's it, that's the end of that. I got rid of the sack of seed completely. Took it down to the bins and threw it away. Cleared everything out. In the hope of, you know, I'm just depriving them of a food source. And then I came down yesterday morning. Now, I'd woken up a couple of times in the night, because I wake up quite a bit in the night anyway. And I thought I'd heard noises from them. And I came down yesterday morning. I was in the kitchen, went to make a cup of tea. The boy was there with me. He takes a great interest in whatever I'm doing. And we heard this noise. And I turned round, and I must have moved, obviously moved, and I turned round and it stopped. So I stayed still for a while and heard this noise again, this scrabbling noise. And to cut a long story short, I went over to the bin where the seed had been stored, and down in the bottom of it, 2 little fluffy grey mice scrabbling around. expecting the seed to be there. They taken their normal route up, thrown themselves in, only to find the cupboard was bare. Now, I know a lot of you would have probably had them out of there and just put an end to it, but I'm not like that, you know. Just, I took them outside and let them go. They've obviously made their way back. But the way I view it is that they're an inconvenience, but I'm not going to kill them because they're an inconvenience, as long as they're not on my plates and cups and glasses and pots and pans, as long as they're not getting into my food, as long as they're not leaving their mess, because they mice continually crap and wee wherever they go. As long as they're on my food preparation surfaces, I can get by. You know, they're just making their way in this crazy world the same as we are, so I'll just let them get on with it. I can tolerate every now and again seeing one running across the floor behind the television. But I think I've never had them here before, and I think now, having deprived them of their food source, I'm expecting them to disappear. That scrabbling is the first I've heard since yesterday morning, so without food they've really got nothing to stick around for. And I've got the young Zigmeister. No, he's not a cat, but he's still a terrier. And terriers kill small animals. If he sees one, he will obviously kill it, which is just natural. That's what they do. And I expect they will move off somewhere else. God help them if they go next door, because he will go medieval on them. I just know him. He'll call down fire and fury on their asses. He'll have the men in with the poison and the traps. But as I've never had them here before, and I've removed their food source, which has never been available before, we'll just have to wait and see if they go. I know some people might say I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I'm a meat eater. I love meat. So they will say, you know, well, why don't you want to kill these when, you know, you're happy for animals to die for food? But you're probably right, I probably am a hypocrite. But if I had to kill for food, I mean, I don't have to, I'll go down the supermarket. But if I had to kill for food, I would kill for food. It's not like I'd go vegetarian or anything. That's but I don't have to do it, and the mice at most are an inconvenience. I don't even kill mosquitoes. It drives my girls mad, because we get more and more mosquitoes in this country nowadays. Never used to get them when I was a kid. So it's just the way I am. I'm going soft in my old age. Oh dear. Oh, I'm sorry, I've rambled on. What a surprise. Gonna light up again. I wish I could blow smoke rings. If any of you want to put, this is one thing for the YTPC, you experienced people up there, put up a tutorial how to blow smoke rings. I'd be interested. But Greg, this tobacco is, it's right up my alley, so to speak. So I hope you've enjoyed this foray into the world of wildlife with Steve and Beerbeard. I hope it's been educational. I'm going to call it a day now. I think I'm getting a bit feverish again. Speak to you again next weekend, or have a fantastic week wherever you are, whatever you're doing. hope your loved ones are all warm, safe, well and content and close by, and I'll talk to you again next week. Ta-da.